Sang Hyo is very happy because near with Suk Ryu, it feels like a dream. And Suk Ryu feels strange with him like this. There is a tickling feeling, but doesn't know where it is. As if there is electricity flowing in her body. What Sang Hyo feels is love as family, friend and lover. He never doesn't love Suk Ryu. Suddenly they hear the voices of Suk Ryu's father and mother. And they are surprised because Suk Ryu's parents suddenly come home.
넌 요리 산 거?
They are a bit strange to see Suk Ryu and Sang Hyo reading comics in their house in the morning. His father is surprised to see Sang Hyo like romantic novels because the comic he reads is entitled Princess. While her mother sees Sang Hyo buttoning his shirt wrong. But her parents are not suspicious of that and think Sang Hyo is like a careless child. Then her mother asks Sang Hyo to call his parents and invite them to eat soup together. While having breakfast together, they discuss their children's marriage later. Mrs. Misak and Mrs. Haesuk agreed to find Suk Ryu and Sang Hyo a match. Of course, that made Suk Ryu and Sang Hyo shocked. Then Sang Hyo felt doubtful that someone would marry Suk Ryu. Mrs. Misak did not accept it because Sang Hyo criticized her daughter. And Suk Ryu also felt that no woman could stand his personality. Hearing that, Sang Hyo's parents felt that there was nothing strange about their son's personality. Then Suk Ryu explained that they did like to tease each other like that. And Mrs. Misak invites to continue eating, because they will be enemies if they defend their children. Suk Ryu invites Sang Hyo to enter her room, because they are very nervous. Suk Ryu convinces that they can get through it if they try harder. But Sang Hyo wants to just admit that they are dating. And Suk Ryu feels that the time is not right because she just cancelled the engagement. She also explains that if their parents know they are dating, then Sang Hyo cannot enter her room freely. Because their parents will monitor their movements. And their relationship becomes unhealthy, innocent and unpleasant. Then Sang Hyo agrees to keep their relationship a secret and not let it be found out. They enjoy their dating happily. They enjoy time together in the park, then watch a movie at the cinema while eating popcorn. They also play games in the game arena. Suk Ryu is developing a recipe to make it delicious. She thinks of making her signature dish. She prepares broccoli and chicken risotto. But Sang Hyo teases her and suddenly Myung-woo comes. Seeing the lights on, he turned off the lights and put the vegetables in the refrigerator. Suk Ryu and Sang Hyo hide because they were caught by Myung-woo. Suk Ryu runs out of time to practice because her exam is in 2 days. But Sang Hyo still teases Suk Ryu by seducing her. And Suk Ryu is tempted by Sang Hyo's seduction. Moim and her mother meet Yeondo and they hug because her mother misses her. She is still curious why she can't take care of Yeondo. Dan-ho is grateful for Moim's mother's offer. If Dan-ho takes advantage of that, he will feel reluctant. Then he invites Yeondo to go to school. Her mother feels that she must have grandchildren, so she asks Moim to go on a blind date. Hearing that, Moim refuses. Her mother feels suspicious that she has someone she likes. Then Moim distracts her mother and leaves.
저 먼저 다녀오겠습니다.
Sia Kryo takes the practical exam for the National Technical Qualification. After the exam is over, it turns out that Sang Hyo is waiting for her. He wants to congratulate his girlfriend by giving her a bouquet of flowers. Of course, Suk Ryu is very happy even though the result is not out yet, but Sang Hyo has already given her a bouquet of flowers. Sang Hyo believes that the process is more important than the result. He also renews his habits as a boyfriend by giving flowers and opening the door for Suk-ryu.
초기화는 안 되지. 그만할게.
Dongjin meets Noyeon on the street. He brags about not having to be tied to work and lives freely. He offers the product he sells to Noyeon. Then he sees writing on Noyeon's document and says that his friend also works at Atelier Inn. And at that time Sang-hyo comes with Suk-ryu. When Dongjin asks about the flower that Suk-ryu is holding, Sang-hyo immediately takes the flower and claims that the flower is his. And at that time Noyeon realizes that Suk-ryu and Dongjin are brothers. Then Dongjin asks Sang-hyo to show him his office. When Dongjin is at Sang-hyo's office, Noyeon comes with the product that Dongjin sells. There is a commotion in the product because the protein is moldy. Dongjin doesn't believe it and checks it. Then Suk-ryu takes Dongjin home by pulling his ear. Suk-ryu explained that Dongjin could be sued for selling unlicensed moldy protein. Hearing that Mr. Bae was very angry and his mother could not believe what was happening. And before that, under control, Suk-ryu asked Dongjin to contact the buyers to apologize and return their money. His mother feels that she has been cheated by her son for years. His mother thought that he would succeed this time. Because he is old and unemployed, she should not be hard on her son. But this is too much. Why are you careless in selling goods without checking? His mother feels that Dongjin's way of thinking is really broken. But Dongjin really wants to succeed this time. He knows that he is always a burden to his parents. He is also not smart and studies as well as Suk-ryu. That's why he hates being ignored and he also wants to feel special. Suk-ryu enters Dongjin's room. Suk-ryu thinks her mother loves him more. No matter how hard she tries to be number one, Dongjin is always number one for her. But Dongjin feels that his mother only worships and proud of Suk-ryu. And Suk-ryu feels that not everyone can be special. Many people want to live an ordinary life, including herself. So don't be too obsessed with being a great person. Find what is important in Dongjin's life, that's more than enough. Suk-ryu tells him this because Dongjin's determination is not weak. It's really nice to see him become a trainer because of his dedication. It turns out that at that time their mother was listening to the conversation between the brother and sister. Sang-hyo is curious about Suk-ryu's cooking test results. Seeing her tired face, Sang-hyo continues to encourage Suk-ryu. Then Suk-ryu laughed happily and told him that she got a Korean culinary expert certificate. Sang-hyo felt very happy and wanted to jump into Suk-ryu's room. But Suk-ryu forbade him because Sang-hyo could get hurt. When Moim wanted to go home from the Ashes resting place, she saw Dan-ho and his daughter. There, Yeon-do greeted her mother and father who had died. It turned out that Yeon-do's father and mother and Dan-ho's father and mother had died. Dan-ho was not Yeon-do's father, but her uncle. He told Yeon-do's progress and promised to always be by her side. And it turned out that Moim was standing there and heard their conversation. Dan-ho didn't expect to meet Moim there. Moim visited the grave of her first mentor, who died helping fire victims. Moim apologized for eavesdropping on Dan-ho and Yeon-do. It all happened suddenly when the family vacation had an accident and Dan-ho was covering the news. His father, mother, brother and sister-in-law died and only his nephew, Yeon-do, was left. Now there is only Yeon-do and himself who decided to be her father. For him, Yeon-do is a miracle, but not for others. There is rumor from the daycare that her parents died saving her. Before Yeon-do understands what it means, he takes her away. That's why they move near Moim's house. Moim wants to comfort him now, because Danho must be lonely and offers a hug. But Danho rejects her because it still can't happen. Suk-ryu makes a resume stating her biodata, that she studied at Berkeley University in California and worked as a product manager at Grape, and applies to several restaurants in Korea. Meanwhile, Sang-hyo gets an invitation to architecture night. He asks Myung-woo if it's okay to bring a partner. Myung-woo already guessed it and asked to invite his partner. It's time for Sang-hyo to show how great he is. Because the restaurant he designed was chosen by architects as the best architecture of the year. Suk-ryu got a reply from the application she applied for, and she failed to get a job. Then Sang-hyo gave a message and asked to meet. It turned out that Suk-ryu chose to meet at his office and cook food. Sang-hyo took a picture of Suk-ryu's recipe and would notarize it if she was famous. When tasting the food, Sang-hyo liked it because even though he didn't like broccoli, the smell was not there. It tasted very good and it was perfect even though Suk-ryu felt something was missing. Then Sang-hyo invited Suk-ryu to participate in the Architect Award because he won the Architect Award. But Suk-ryu felt she couldn't because it wasn't her place. Sang-hyo felt he had given in and understood not to tell their family. Then why hide it from other people? But Suk-ryu feels the world is small, so she's still worried. Although a bit disappointed, but Sang-hyo is not angry. He respects Suk-ryu's decision, so don't take his words seriously.
개의치 마.
Dongjin goes to the fitness center where he used to work. He apologizes to his boss for feeling stupid and wasting time. Then his boss gives him a rag and asks him to clean up. He immediately gets excited to clean the fitness center. Suk-ryu's friends gather and tell each other that they have gotten jobs and also opened their own food stall, while Suk-ryu has not received the call from the job she applied for. Her friend feels that Suk-ryu's resume is too great. If former great employees apply for kitchen staff, they will be afraid to accept, because Suk-ryu is too great. Suk-ryu looks back at the brochure that Hyung-jun had given her. It's about a culinary school abroad. Sang-hyo comes with some food to Suk-ryu's house that he got from a famous restaurant. Then he goes upstairs to look for Suk-ryu. He goes into her room, but doesn't find Suk-ryu. Seeing her messy room, Sang-hyo tidies up her room. Then he sees the brochure and Suk-ryu come back to her room. She's happy to see Sang-hyo, but Sang-hyo gets angry seeing the brochure. It's the culinary school that Hyung-jun said. Suk-ryu explains that it doesn't mean anything, she just have it. But Sang-hyo finds a note about the culinary school. Sang-hyo asks if Suk-ryu will leave him and go abroad again. How hard was it for Sang-hyo to let go of Suk-ryu in the past? Why did Suk-ryu think about that without telling him? How could Suk-ryu think about separating without worrying? But Suk-ryu also finds it difficult to be away from Sang-hyo. And Sang-hyo feels that Suk-ryu's attitude is contradictory. Because she doesn't want to be away, but secretly looks for a school abroad. He tries to understand when their relationship is kept secret. But it turns out he was wrong. This is all he means to Suk-ryu. Then Suk-ryu explains that all her job applications were rejected. Of all the restaurants, none called her for an interview. She feels that 34 years old is not suitable for starting a new page, but she still wants to cook and find a breakthrough. And she doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of Sang-hyo. She wants to be confident and graceful in front of Sang-hyo. That's why she refused to come to his event. But Sang-hyo feels completely unashamed by it. No one is more dedicated and honest in life than Suk-ryu. He doesn't care what Suk-ryu does or how she looks. He likes Suk-ryu for who she is. But Suk-ryu feels that it's not enough for her. She can't live off love and also needs space for a while. So, she asked Sang-hyo's permission, because she wanted to disappear for a while. And Sang-hyo just kept quiet and let her go. Dan-ho saw Moim drinking alone and she was rambling about mad people. She was so drunk that she didn't realize she was hugging Dan-ho. Then Dan-ho took her by carrying her. Seeing her drunk daughter made her mother embarrassed. Her mother brought her into the house, but Moim kept rambling. When she was little she wanted to be Spider-Man and smear glue on her hands. But after growing up, she embarrassed her mother. She apologized for not raising her daughter well. But Dan-ho felt that her mother raised Moim well. And also, he wanted to be with Moim. At first, he broke up with Moim, but he felt he couldn't anymore. When Sang-hyo was checking the building, he got a call from Suk-ryu. And suddenly Sang-hyo had an accident. Suk-ryu ran to the hospital and looked for her boyfriend. She cried when she found Sang-hyo safe. Sang-hyo was confused seeing Suk-ryu crying. And suddenly Suk-ryu said she loves Sang-hyo. Sang-hyo was surprised when suddenly he heard Suk-ryu's love confession. Suk-ryu felt stupid. She shouldn't have been so humble in front of love. She couldn't even live without love. She forbade Sang-hyo to contact her, but waited for his call, and she almost fainted because of the shock of hearing Sang-hyo's accident. But Sang-hyo just smiled and apologized. Then he hugged Suk-ryu tightly. He calmed Suk-ryu down and said he wouldn't get hurt. No matter what happens, he will always be by Suk-ryu's side. So, say it again that Suk-ryu loves him. Sang-hyo missed her so much, but wanted to obey, so he didn't call and waited as long as he could. When he was hurt, he thought he would meet Suk-ryu today. It felt unfair that there was no better expression than the words, I love you.
사랑한다고.